seen solar panels on any kind of roofs or just on the side of the highway on the call boxes for the emergency telephones?
Yeah.
Yeah? No? Okay. Well, as you can tell, I did my speech on solar panels, and they are actually being used around the world a lot today, and actually one of the largest companies is out of Germany. That's what my dad told me. So they're not just used in the U.S., and Europe uses them a lot because the buildings are a lot older, so they don't always have like the same electrical systems as we do here, so they use the solar panels a lot. And but however, the first solar cell was invented in the United States in 1954 in the Bell Laboratories, and that's in the U.S. And I actually became really interested in solar panels whenever my dad studied for a long time, and he took a certification test, which is called the NABSEP certification test, and he actually took classes in Florida for 2 years on that. And I also got interested in solar panels because of just how the way they work and how efficient they are. And solar panels are definitely helping the world become more energy efficient more than ever before today. So the first question any of you may be asking is, what are solar panels? And solar panels, the more scientific term, is actually photovoltaic systems, which my dad usually calls them PV systems. That's the more right term instead of solar panels. And they are actually semiconductors that convert solar radiation into electricity. And they're on top of the solar panels, they're actually wafers, or what they call solar cells, and they're rectangular, and they're on top of the solar panels, and they're made out of crystalline silicon, and that's really sensitive to sunlight, so that's what collects most of the sunlight and the heat from the sun. And according to the book that I use, this photovoltaic systems book, there are many different kinds of PV systems, but the most common is called utility connected systems. And these ones are the ones that you mainly see that are mounted on roofs of houses or large commercial buildings or on call boxes on the highway. And those are usually mounted on the roofs or on the ground. And there are also portable PV systems. They're the more smaller ones, and they can actually be found on campers or on just like water pumping systems, like out in Kansas. If you have like a really large ranch and they can control the water pumping system for the animals to still get water. It'll like turn on a sensor. And there are also space PV systems, and these are almost on every single satellite and spacecraft since 1958. And these are what the crystalline silicon wafers are. That's what they look like. And that's just what the utility ones look like. Those are the main ones. And these are the portable PV systems. This one's on a camper, and those can usually be used for refrigeration or something in the camper. Okay. The next question that I thought about was, what are solar panels used for? The utility connected systems, those are your most common. Those are used for the water heaters, and they can be used for all the electricity in your house. but those are for more like down in the south, if you live down there, because obviously they have more sun than we get up here. And then the portable PV systems, these are for your refrigeration, like in your campers, to charge cell phones, GPSs, if you're actually camping. And there's actually a page in here. It's page 10 and 11. I'll pass it around. And these ones are the portable ones, and they can also be on temporary signs, like the traffic signs. Have you ever seen like the caution, traffic up ahead, or like road work? And those can be used from like the solar panels too. And what I thought was really interesting is that the portable ones in sort of the desert areas, like over in Europe or in Asia or something, they don't always have trucks to carry all the medicines. So if you run a business or something, they actually hook up a refrigerator and put it on a camel's back, and then put a solar panel on top of it to keep the medicine cool. And that's on page 9, so you guys can take a look at this. That's the picture. And then these are the portable ones. Okay, and the space PV systems, these help operate the sensors and electricity whenever the spacecrafts or satellites are up in space, because it's the easiest way for the electricity to get up there in space, obviously, because another question that I asked was, how do solar panels work? And this is really where I had no idea how they worked, and this is where I really researched a lot. And there are actually 2 different ways that the electricity can be distributed to them in order for them to work. And the first one is a centralized electricity distribution. And this is for, like, if you live in the city more, this is where you get the energy from your power plants, and then they go into the power lines, and then it's distributed to you. And then the distribution generation, that's if you're in a more designated area, but you have to be really close to these places, because this is where you can use like your wind energy, if you've ever seen like the big windmill things. And then you just have to be close to those, and then it goes to a communication tower, and then it is distributed to that. And the next question I asked was, how do solar panels use energy? And here's a little video for you to watch. It's just short. This is more complicated, but I'll explain it, what it really is saying. And those are just your PV cells. So what that is pretty much saying is that the silicon from the solar cells absorbs energy from sunlight because they're sensitive, and then it converts the sun's energy into electrical power, and then the power that is created flows into an inverter, and then while it is in the inverter, it transforms power into voltage and electricity and the power. Okay. And that's just another picture of them installing the solar panels. So as you can see, solar panels are really useful to the environment. I mean, they're really complicated to really learn about. My dad studied for like a year before he took his exam, but luckily he passed. And just by seeing how they work and what they're used for, it's really interesting. And I personally think that all large commercial buildings in the South should have solar panels on them because it would really help the environment a lot. And solar panels can affect the way we live in the U.S. and just pretty much by how much energy we get through the sun, and it would really help.